It's day 7 of DEPHEMEREMBER, your daily ephemera inspiration in December. And today I really have the feeling that I have to say it's already day 7. I have the feeling that the time flies by in an incredibly high speed, and this is just crazy. Making an ephemera every day is obviously doing something with the speed of the world. Do you know what I mean? So if you are new here and you think, oh, perhaps I have missed something. Yes, if you are new here, then you've missed day 1 to 6. So please check out the playlist. You have still the chance to join DEPHEMEREMBER and create some cool ephemera for your own junk journal. Hi there, this is Luise Heinzel, and in collaboration with Barbara at 49 Dragonflies and with the help of this prompt list that you can see here, I'm going to show you some ideas for handmade ephemera for your junk journals. And this is of course not all. Every day in DEPHEMEREMBER we have this little paper bag where we find two things. So the first thing is a little card with an animal. The animal for today is the bear, so we can use that for today. And I'm also having this little snack here. So that means Barbara and myself, we have some international snacks during DEPHEMEREMBER, and this one comes from Japan. I'm really excited for that, but I will save that for later. First of all, I want to make a base for a tag for today, because today's prompt is handwritten memory and loaded tag. So my idea behind this was a little bit crazy because I thought of using the bear in my project, and then I came to this thought that I have a favorite bear, and my favorite bear is definitely the koala bear. I had a really big collection of koala bears, I mean, as pictures and stuffed animals and that stuff in my childhood. So I've decided that I want to make a koala bear dedicated tag today. I'm using some distress oxide inks here for creating a background. I'm just layering the different layers on top of each other. That was no sentence, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean. And I'm drying that in between so that I get this really cool oxide effect of the ink. And I want to imitate the fur of an koala bear. I mean, color-wise, of course. If you want to imitate such a background that I'm creating here, then please make sure that you are drying your layers with the oxide ink in between of each layer really well. And you can also add some water for a more, like watercolor look. And what I also really like, and that's exactly what I'm doing here now, is adding a last layer with the oxide spray directly from the spray bottle. I'm using this little nozzle to spritz that around a little bit. And then I dry that, of course. And now I want to add some texture paste through this stencil. It may be a little bit strange to you when I say that these little dots remind me to the noses of koala bears. I know that is not the exact shape of the nose of a koala bear, but this was in my head in this moment. And there was another thing. Koala bears are eating eucalyptus leaves. I'm hoping that I'm saying this word right. And those are green. This is correct pistachio oxide ink. I know that eucalyptus is not like turquoise, but who cares? I mean, this is my project and I want to show you that you can do anything that you want with your own project. I mean, this is your desk, your tag. So please do what you want. And if I want to create an abstract version of a koala bear, and I will not put a picture of a koala bear to my project today, so I can, say that now because it will not happen. But if this is my version, then it's totally okay. And that's the same with your project, of course. And if I now think the koala bears have those white fluffy things on their ears, then I can take some embossing ink from this dabber, add some white embossing powder and emboss that to imitate that and to bring the thoughts that I have in my mind to my tag. This looks really cool. I was really surprised about how this background came out. I'm really happy with this and I love this texture and all of the colors that look really, really interesting to me. And yeah, so then there was another really strange thought. Koala bears are sitting in trees and the branches of the trees are brown. So I've decided to distress the edges of my tag with this brown. That's Vintage Photo oxide ink, and I'm mixing that up with some hickory smoke oxide ink to get a little more warm feeling to my tag. It was a little bit cold in my eyes at this stage of this project. So do what you want, please. Here I have taken out an envelope. So this is not my handwritten memory, by the way. This is just an envelope. And I thought, why not putting that to the tag like a little bag? The koala bear also has this little bag in his belly where the baby grows up. Do you know what I mean? When it is born, it is climbing to this little bag and then it grows up in the bag. So why not choosing an envelope like this and imitating this bag that the animal has as well. So I'm folding that to the back and then there's a little left over, and because this is an original vintage envelope, I don't want to waste this material, and I'm cutting that off here. And I'm totally strange today. This little thingy goes now to the bottom of this envelope. I've just sewn that there to the other piece of the envelope, and now you have this imagination of this little bag that the koala bear has on its belly. After sewing that, I'm taking some glue and I'm first gluing the different layers of the envelope to each other so that it can't fall apart later. And then I'm adding some glue to this little flip here that is going to be glued to the back of my tag so that the rest of the envelope is on the front, like a pocket and a flip out at the same time. I have used some bookbinders glue to glue that down so that it holds really, really well and that it can't fall off. And now I'm taking my tag and I'm gluing that to the page in my ephemera idea junk journal that Barbara at 49 Dragonflies has created for me, because I found out that when I have, let's say, half of my project ready, it's easier for me to put that into the journal, to the page where I want to have it, to have a better imagination of what I want to do next. I've added an eyelet to the top of this tag. I've punched the hole through the tag and the page. And then the eyelet went a little bit wrong. So yeah, I've added a little bit of fabric there to cover that up. And here is my handwritten memory. That's perhaps not what you've expected. To be honest, it's also not what I had expected before choosing the items for this project. These are some documents from the bank that I had in my childhood. My grandparents saved some money for me, so that that money I have received when I was an adult, and these are some of the documents from the bank. And these other things, now this one, for example, is a piece of this paper where you, what is that in English? Do you know what I mean? When you go to the bank and you want to give some money to your bank account, then you get this little paper that says that you have given it to the bank. Do you know what I mean? So this has some handwriting from my mother on it, because also my parents gave some money to the bank for me for later. And this is, I would say, an unusual handwritten memory. I wanted to show you something that is not a letter or not a postcard or not a poem that someone has written for you, but something else. And out of these scraps, I'm creating a masterboard now that I later on want to cut into pieces to put those pieces into the pockets of my loaded tag. And here I'm adding some more white embossing powder because I want to have this cohesive look to the tag and to the rest of my project. And this is for blending the different collage pieces into each other a little bit. Normally, perhaps I would use some white gesso for that. That also would be a possibility, of course. But I wanted to try something different. You know, DEPHEMEREMBER is all about making ephemera, but it's also all about trying something different, doing things that you've never done before. And that's the reason for the embossing powder. After stamping to my embossing powder with some waterproof stays-on ink, I'm adding some oxide sprays in really contrasting colors to what I have on my tag. I'm hoping that this will go really well together later. I'm also adding some water to make sure that the colors can flow a little bit and that they blend into each other and I get a really cool mixture out of those colors. That looks already really interesting. But now this has to dry, of course. Drying time. That means snack time. So today we have this snack from Japan and it's really good that the name is also written here in German. So here it says Baumkuchen. That means something like tree cake. Yeah, if you translate it word by word, then it may means tree cake. Here it says milk and ichigo. I don't know what that here means. I think you can't read it. It's really late in the evening here, so my light is not the best. I'm so sorry for that, but I can't read this. And of course, I also can't read this. This is just cool, this lettering here. These foreign languages also look like a piece of art in my eyes. And here it says, for a happy, lively time with your friends, let's relax with confectionaries. Friends, where are you? No friends here. That's good, because then this is all for me. Oh. Smells a little bit like lemon and vanilla. Oh, really soft. Looks like this. So this thing called Baumkuchen, tree cake, I know that very differently than this is. Here you can guess that it is made out of different layers, but the Baumkuchen that I know, it has these little layers way more visibly on it. So let's taste that. There must be something like lemon flavor in it and also vanilla, I guess. This is so small. Egg, sugar, wheat flour, palm oil, starch, syrup, cornstarch. Oh, strawberry juice. Ah, yeah. Fructose, glucose syrup, strawberry concentrated juice, milk, blah blah blah. Strawberry, yeah, yes. Not lemon. How could I think that it is lemon? It's definitely not lemon. Since I know it, I can taste it and I can smell it. It's strawberry. I'm really surprised that I like it, even if it has this strawberry flavor in it. Do you remember those other strawberry thingies from a few days ago? There I said, and it's still my opinion, that I like strawberries in their pure way, but I really don't like those strawberry flavored products like pudding or yogurt or something like that. But this is definitely really good. It has a little bit something that is, you know, like this typical flavor. It's not so, you know, it's not natural and it's a snack. I mean, there's sugar in it, we know that. But it has a taste that lets me have the feeling that I have the plastic packaging in my mouth. And it also smells really like machines in a factory. I really don't know how to say that in English, but it smells really really strange. So because of this surprise with the strawberries, I would say 7 out of 10. But because of this like plastic tasty thingy, I would say 5 out of 10. The smell is really not, the smell is not good. Yeah. This packaging of this snack from Japan goes into my candy journal like the others as well. And I'm again stapling that to my page. I found out that this is the easiest way to do. I mean, it was so easy the last days, and it's, I think, better than trying to glue this. I mean, gluing plastic to paper, it's always not so easy. And I guess you would also see some of the glue peeking through some of the packages where they are transparent. And that would look not so nice. So I'm going on with my stapling method. And I'm also adding some page tabs, as you can see here, from those pieces of the packaging that I've just cut off to open the package. That looks really cool, and I like when this is peeking out from the journal later. And of course, I've also written down the date and my rating for this interesting snack from Japan. My masterboard in the meantime has dried, and as you can see, I have some ink on the embossing powder. Normally the ink wouldn't dry on this plasticky surface of the embossing powder, but I've done a little trick. I've remelted the powder while the ink was still wet with my heat gun, and then you can include this color of the ink, or the ink itself actually, into the powder. That's a really cool trick, and that makes a really interesting look, I think. I've also put a little bit of brown to the masterboard to get a cohesive look to my tag. And now I'm cutting some cards out of this masterboard. I have eyeballed that mainly, but for some of the cards I've also measured that so that they fit really well into these pockets that I have there from the envelope. I wanted to have those cards being all in one place on the one hand, but I also wanted to see a little part of each card. So that means I've started with one card and then I went one by one with cutting them. And yeah, so I was able to find the right size for this smaller pocket and also the main pocket of the envelope. And then I've just put them all in there, as you can see here. And I had only a little piece of my masterboard left over. That is what you can see here. I've just cut that into 3 pieces and added that to my page for a little bit more interest. And then I thought, why not adding some postage stamps? I mean, we have an envelope and we have this thought of this koala bear collection that I had in my childhood. And I also had a friend in that time. I went to school with her. Her name is Kathy, and she had a collection of panda bears, and she brought me to the idea to collect koala bears. So that was a thing between us. Do you know what I mean? This friendship thing, very special. And she is living very far away now, and we have not so much contact anymore. So I've decided to have these postage stamps like a reminder of getting in touch with her again, writing a letter or a postcard or something like that, for example. So I've tried to turn all of these cards into artsy postcards. Postage stamps are also always a good idea to get a connection between contrasting colors. That's also a thing why I did that here, and why I have put the postage stamps to the cards while they were in the pockets. As you can see, I'm not taking them all out to find the position for the postage stamps, but I'm leaving them in the pockets like they are so that I can have a better overview over the whole thing to see where I want to put those postage stamps. And then I thought we need some postmarks as well. So I have taken out my Field Notes stamp set by Tim Holtz, and I've just randomly put some postmarks here and there so that it gets, yeah, a little bit more interest as well. And I've also put some numbers from the same stamp set there. That was because, you know, a collection. Perhaps I had 785 koala bears in my collection. I really don't know how many there were in my collection, but these numbers were a little reminder of the amount of pieces of my collection. Do you know what I mean? If you want to distress your envelope, please do that before you glue that to the tag. Here I'm trying to get some more brown and some more vintage feeling to this project, but it would have been definitely better to do that in the beginning and not now. Barbara has sent some scraps to me. So what you can see here is one of those scraps. We have exchanged some scraps. She has got some from my stash and I got some from her stash. And with this little paper here, I want to make some additional little journaling pages behind this envelope flap. I'm using a method that Elise Klatschmohn has shown on Instagram. I will link her post down below this video for you so that you can watch that. Her video is in German, but I can recommend to check that out because that is a really awesome idea and I'm trying to imitate that here. So I'm folding the paper so that I get a little kind of spine to my paper, approximately half of a centimeter. And to that little spine, I'm putting some glue and then I'm gluing that down so that I now have this little page here where I can put some journaling. And that's cool. And it's especially cool because you can put several of those pages to one page. That's also a great thing if you perhaps have a journal that is already relatively full. I mean, full of writing or journaling, and you need more space and you can put more pages to the journal because it's not too bulky when you decide to do that. And this is a great way to add more journaling space to such a journal because this way you can just flip these pages open and then you can journal there. And it's also some kind of a hidden journaling spot, and that's something that I really like to have in my journals. I've also added some more distressing with the brown ink, and I'm gluing some postage stamps to my little pages here as well to get a cohesive look to the front piece with this envelope flap. And then I've decided that I want to have some greenery there, some leaves or something like that. So I'm gluing some stickers here. In the camera, I have to say that looks really, really strange because those stickers are really glossy. I'm really sorry for that. I haven't realized that while I had recorded the video. This looks really strange in the camera, but with your eye, this looks very different, and it's really cool to have this translucent look of those stickers. The leaves, of course, also remind me to those eucalyptus leaves that the koala bear is eating. So here's my original idea coming back to my project. And I really like this look that all of the elements are peeking out from my project. Speaking of there's peeking something out, I mean, this is going to be a really good transition to the next part of the video, yeah? So attention, please, attention. I have thought about this part of the video really long and really good, so that it is a really good transition. Do you know what I mean? I just made a coffee for myself so that video editing is not so extremely hard for me. And always when I make a coffee, I mean, how do you do that? Always when I make a coffee, I run through, I run to my printer. I mean, that's like a tradition for me, yeah? So making a coffee means running to the printer. Do you do that as well? I mean, that can be totally worth it to do that. I mean, try that out if you haven't done it before, yeah? I'm just kidding. Because from my printer, there was, attention, peeking out something, and that's that's this freebie that I've created for you so that you can create your own loaded tag similar to what I have shown in the video. So here I have made a relatively plain base so that you can collage on top of this, or you can put some texture paste to the base here like I did it in the video. Here you have an envelope and you can cut this thing out, and with the help of these little flaps you can fold and glue it, and then you have an envelope that you can also put diagonal here to the tag, or in any other way, of course, if you want. And there's also some ephemera laying around here on this sheet so that you can cut that out and use that for your loaded tag as well. And yeah, I'm hoping that you like this. You can find this freebie on my website. The same for all of the other freebies that I'm offering during DEPHEMEREMBER. So that means if you perhaps have missed one of the other freebies, you can find that there as well. And I hope you will enjoy this. I guess the idea of a loaded tag comes from loaded envelope. I think loaded envelope was the original idea of this whole thing. And a loaded envelope is often overloaded. Perhaps you have seen pictures of loaded envelopes on Pinterest or somewhere else. They are always stuffed with different things and with really much things. So I've decided that I want to have some butterflies here, because butterflies always make a project not only more beautiful, but also this kind of whimsical. Can we quickly talk about your stash of butterflies, please? How does that look? Is that filled up? If not, and if you perhaps need some more butterflies for your stash, I mean, you can never have enough butterflies, by the way, then I have a little goodie for you. You can get 50% discount with this code here on my butterfly fuzzy cut images from my Etsy shop. There's available volume 1 and volume 2, so that's a ton of butterflies that you can print out and fuzzy cut out, and then you have a stash full of butterflies, and then you can of course use them later on for your junk journal projects. So just use this code here at the end of your order in my shop if you want to have this discount. The link to my shop, of course, is down below in the description box. And now let's add some finishing touches to the project. But I have a little quick tip for you. Don't do it like I'm doing it here, because here you can see me splattering some oxide ink mixed with water to my butterflies and to the rest of the project. And since I had printed the butterflies from my printable to matte photo paper, the oxide ink is reacting with that paper, and it comes not out in the color that I've chosen. It's not turquoise like the cracked pistachio color is, but it turned out into a really grayish blue. I was not so happy with that. That's the reason why I'm adding some white splatters additionally in a second. But later on, I was like, okay, that looks not so bad, because there are many different blues and also turquoise and this gray on the left page. But please, if you want to have your splatters in the matching color, that was my intention for the splattering with the cracked pistachio, then don't use photo paper for printing the butterflies. Or, because photo paper, of course, is a good idea to print, or seal the photo paper with, for example, Mod Podge, matte medium, or something like that. Then the ink, of course, will come out in the color that you have chosen, and it will not change its color, and it will not react in this strange way like it did here. Here I'm showing you some detailed, views of my cards. I'm really happy how this contrast of the cards and the tag itself came out. This background matches this other colors in the foreground really, really well. And I like all of this hidden journaling space. It's like a little surprise when you flip this open and you see everything that's behind this pocket on the front. I hope you like this idea. If you want to create some own DEPHEMEREMBER ephemera, then of course you can share that on social media. You can use the hashtag DEPHEMEREMBER. You can see that in the screen on the bottom here. And of course, it's also written down in the description box so that you can just copy and paste that. And this hashtag you can also use for your own YouTube videos, by the way. If you want to join DEPHEMEREMBER with your own YouTube channel, of course, you are invited to do that and make your own videos. Then please use the hashtag so that everyone can find your videos really easily. And please don't forget to check out Barbara's video that she has published today. I'm sure she has a really, really great idea for today's prompt, and it will be completely different than mine. We are not talking about what we are creating, and it's a surprise for us as well what the other has created. So please check that out. The link to her channel is, of course, also down below in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this. Create something really cool today for your own journal, and see you tomorrow to another day of DEPHEMEREMBER, and of course with another prompt from our prompt list. Stay creative. See you.